$1 billion. That is roughly how much Americans spend each year on self-help books. $1 billion. Take a look at any self-help bestseller list, and you'll see a range of topics, like getting rid of an unhealthy habit, letting go of a past mistake or regret, or simply creating a new you. But you know what? Making change is hard. Has anyone ever made a New Year's resolution? Yeah, I have. According to a University of Scranton study, 25% of people let their resolutions go after just 1 week. And 92% have let them go by year's end. Making change is hard. As a psychologist, I have a front row seat witnessing what happens to people on their inside. And what I've observed is that transforming oneself is a maddening process because we have to make a choice, and it boils down to this. Do we keep doing the same thing and feel comfortable, or do we do something differently and feel uncomfortable? Transformation means that we need to do something differently. We need to step outside of who we are to go beyond our original form to a new version of us. Now, this realization, it really hit home for me, not as a psychologist or as a professor, but actually as a dad. You see, I am the proud father of 2 boys. When my wife and I were going to our first ultrasound for our eldest son, we expected to see a peanut-shaped baby just hanging out. Instead, what we saw was a big head, a tiny body, flappy little arms, and a single alfalfa sprout poking out on top of the head. Immediately, we said, "That looks like Jack Jack." For those of you who are unaware, Jack Jack is a character from the cartoon movie The Incredibles. He is a fierce and unpredictable baby boy whose superpowers emerge when he's feeling a strong emotion. Well, from that moment on, we knew that our child's name would be Jack Jack. But unbeknownst to us, his personality would live up to his namesake, especially when he was upset. When my Jack Jack was in first grade, he was struggling with a particular assignment. It's not that it was that difficult for him, it's just that it wasn't coming out the way that he had imagined. Okay? He was getting frustrated. He was sitting at our kitchen table, and I was doing my best to calm him. Well, whatever I was doing was not working, and now both he and I were both getting upset. At one point, he began to cry, and he was saying some pretty horrible things about himself. And I, being the expert that I am, just kept telling him to calm down. At one point, I literally yelled, "Just calm down." To which he responded, while sobbing, "Papa, I can't. I don't know how." Then he went into attack mode and destroyed his assignment. Right? "I can't. I don't know how." That encapsulates what is so maddening about transformation. Making change is hard. For the most part, we don't like unpleasant feelings. We tend to avoid them. Okay? As my younger son Xavier likes to say, "Papa, I just don't like to feel uncomfortable." But you know what? What if our uncomfortable feelings have something to tell us? You see, we are here, and we want to go over there. A newly transformed self. Seems simple enough, right? Well, not so fast. You see, the closer we get to where we want to go, the farther we are from where we started. Transformation happens out there, beyond our comfort zone. And so the closer we move toward it, we are going to feel bad, uneasy, and nervous. And that is also where we begin to feel like we are running around inside a circle. We're avoiding going out there to find the message that our feelings are trying to tell us. When we face those nerve-wracking situations, we need to look at them, not avoid them. Making change is hard. When I was in high school, I had to do a project in my physics class. We were supposed to design an airplane out of a long cardboard tube. Well, as I was working on my project, cutting cardboard with a Swiss Army knife, the blade slipped and I sliced my finger. My immediate reaction was to grab my finger and hold it tightly. But I wasn't holding it tightly because I was trying to stop the bleeding. It was because I was scared. I did not want to look to see how bad this injury was. But I knew I had to look, and so slowly, reluctantly, I did. And I saw blood, but I also learned that my finger was going to be okay. I didn't need to go to the hospital. And over time, it did heal quite nicely. If you've ever injured yourself, you know that despite the pain and also the queasiness, you have to look to see where your wound is hurting. You have to look to see how bad the injury is. Can you imagine if we never, ever looked at our injuries? Well, the same could be said about our feelings. Do we honestly examine them? Or do we cover them up and avoid them? You see, in transformation, we're going to have to get used to that discomfort for a little bit. The answer to making change lies in our feelings, and we've been locking them out. Now, back to Jack. He was getting upset because he could not complete his assignment. And when I said, just calm down, he said, Papa, I can't. I don't know how. You know, to be honest, hearing that, it broke my heart because it was then that I realized how upset and frustrated he must have been. So I gave him a hug, and then I sat with him until the crying subsided. Then we talked about how he felt, and we came up with a few things he could do if he became upset again. We developed 2 solutions. First, we agreed that it was important for him to remind himself that unpleasant feelings do not last forever. Second, we came up with 3 options for him to choose if he became upset again. Go play with his Legos, cuddle with his blankie, or his personal favorite, grab a book and snuggle into his favorite comfy corner of our couch and read. Learning how to calm down is a skill. It does not happen naturally. Think about it. When you're thirsty, you drink water. When you're hungry, you eat food. But when you feel bad, what do? Like Jack, when we're upset, we need to find our own comfy corner. Right? Jack learned some skills that allowed him to go beyond his usual attack mode to a newer and calmer version of himself. You know, that situation for me, it also impacted me. Hearing, Papa, I can't, I don't know how, that kind of rocked me because it upended how I thought about myself. I thought that I was a cool and calm and composed dad, one that wasn't bothered by a crying child. But if I'm to be honest, in that moment, my instinct, my form, was actually to blame my son. Hey, after all, his name is Jack, and he was in attack mode. But that's not transformation. Remember, in transformation, when we face a challenging situation, we need to find its message. You know how I felt? Angry, yes. Then guilty, and then helpless, and ultimately scared. If I couldn't help my son, what kind of dad was I going to be? And ultimately, I came to the realization that my feelings were telling me I was scared of being a bad dad. I was scared of being a bad dad. Yes, that realization was quite humbling. But it also showed me that I needed to find my own comfy corner. Because once I did, the solutions became crystal clear. I needed to work on learning some new dad skills. I needed to find new, kinder ways of viewing my son. I needed to take time to teach both my boys, Jack and Xavi, how to be emotionally healthy young men. Now, my challenge to all of us is this. When we meet a challenging, difficult moment, view it as a threshold for transformation. When we face conflict and we feel uncomfortable, understand that that discomfort is a necessary part of making change. And if we're feeling panicky and a desire to go back to our old ways, take that deep breath and go find our comfy corner. And once we're settled down, unclench your finger from where it hurts. Look at it. Face the feelings. And then find the message that will tell you exactly how to transform your life. Making change is hard, but possible. Thank you.